What is going on, people? Today we go through 4 of our most bold takes on the upcoming EFL Championship season. Special guest Alex Craig, thank you so much for coming on. His socials are in my link below. You'll hear us yap for the first 10 minutes about random general things, and then if you want to skip right to the bold predictions, they start at 10 minutes. Thank you so much. If you don't know who I am, I'm Joner Fat Cat. I make EFL Championship and Premier League content. If you are a fan of those topics, sub to the channel, like the video, comment on the video if you agree or disagree with some of the takes we talk about today, because boy, I will tell you, they are bold. We're going to look so stupid in a year from now. Thank you, and we'll see you in there. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are here with Alex Craig. Welcome in. How are you doing? Thank you so much for coming on today.
No worries. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm absolutely buzzing for the start of the season. Now, obviously, we've only got 2 friendlies left. In just over a week's time, the championship's going to be kicking off, back to business, and hopefully it's a big, big season for the Sky Blues.
Yes, sir. I'm so excited, man. I'm counting down the days. I'm looking at my calendar every night. And you know what I'm most excited for? Is for us to come on here and give 4 takes that are going to be 100% bold and correct when we look back next year.
I don't know about that. I don't know about my predictions. Last season, I had a couple of shockers. I predicted the whole championship table last year. Didn't get one right. So hopefully today's predictions are a little bit better.
You didn't get one right last year. It's only up from here. So
Exactly.
before we get into
Exactly.
it, I just want to ask you a couple questions because obviously it's been a weird journey for me to start getting into the championship. The way that we first had any interaction, I was looking back. So I posted a TikTok about the championship, just how the relegation and the promotion battles were crazy. This, that, what team should I support? I'll just play it on the screen so you know. So you're telling me that in the championship, you could finish 21 points below third with 8 less wins, 6 more losses, and if you clutch up in the playoff, you get promoted over them. That is electric. I think I need to watch some championship ball. Should I support Coventry? They got Haji Wright, best American striker. And he actually commented, man, a few words. He said, Coventry are your team, boy. So
100%, man. There we go. Like, look, it's good to have as many fans as we can, like all over the world. Like, you may not notice we've got like a supporters group somewhere in Africa. The country's losing me right now. But like we've got a whole group of fans there, and obviously us having Haji Wright is like a massive catalyst in us having fans over in America. I know a couple of seasons ago when we first signed Sakamoto, we had fans coming over from Japan just to watch him play. So it's absolutely crazy knowing that we've got fans all over the world now. But yeah, man, like you were there saying, come on, like I want to pick a team, and Coventry's got to be a team, man. Not only have we got an American player, which probably worked to our advantage, but you know, the second half of last season, we really turned things around, really improved. And I mean, I'm glad you did choose Coventry, man. You made the right decision, let's just say.
I think so, and I think the next couple months will only solidify that. So what is your content plan going into the season? I know you did a lot of like match day vlogs last season. So are you doing the same? Are you switching it up? Like what's it going to look like this year for the Alex Craig channel?
Well, I'm going to stick to just doing what I did last season, going to every single game, home and away. I've been doing it now for way over 10 years. I did take a little bit of a break for a couple of years. But yeah, way over 10 years ago, it was just me with a camera, half the size I am now, going to games and just filming it. And at the time, it wasn't as serious as I take it now. It was just me wanting to capture my experience at the games. And as we've got better and better, I'd hope to say my videos have as well. But yeah, this season, I want to really focus on going to games. I really enjoy the traveling aspect as well. I've been to like, I think 12 different countries now watching football on the channel. So I want to continue that. But I also want to bring some championship content in there as well. So things like predictions, ranking different things such as kits. I did a stadium ranking a couple of weeks ago. I seem to think I'm some sort of expert when it comes to football stadiums. I'm probably not, but yeah, so I just want to do that. I want to bring out as much quality content as I can. Yeah, it's not the easiest thing, especially when YouTube isn't my full-time job, but it's a hobby that I have really, really enjoyed for the longest time now, and I'm hoping to just build on it this season.
Very cool. Yeah, same here. Not my full-time job. Would love for it to be, down the line. But, you got to start somewhere. So, yeah, I'm looking to get over, hopefully in January next year, there's a nice little stretch of Leicester home, Millwall home, and then Norwich away. So that would be a very good time. I'm hoping I can get the time off work and just send it over there.
Yeah, man. If you ever come over, like I say, you'll have to come over, get in a video, maybe even, I can give you a tour of Coventry, a nice, it's not the most beautiful place, but definitely show you the best places to go, best place to have a drink before the game. And the Leicester game as well will be absolutely crazy. I went to my first Leicester game in 2008 away from home. So my first M69 derby there was an away game. And we then went on a gap from 2011 to a couple of seasons ago where we didn't play them. Leicester had loads of success. And when we beat them, that was the first time I'd ever seen us beat them in my lifetime. That was January 13th, 2023. So, yeah, a long wait. But the atmosphere that day was incredible. And hopefully we can go back to beating them at home again next season, because that was easily one of the top five Coventry games. It was just overshadowed by us then beating Wolves in the FA Cup, playing Man United in the semi-final that season, to being the best game that season. So for me, that's definitely a game to go to. Millwall at home, I mean, yeah, it's going to be a decent game. I expect Millwall to be up there this season. And then Norwich away, we haven't got the best look at Carrow Road. We really haven't. If you look back to last season, we were 1-0 up, I think, until the 89th minute. Went on to lose 2-1. Absolutely horrible game. But hopefully by then, our look has changed at Carrow Road. Never seen us win there. I think I've been there maybe 4 or 5 times. So hopefully that changes this season.
Yes, yes, hopefully. Now, I got one more question for you before we get into it. How old are you? Because I can't tell if you're like 17 or you're like 25. And I know the drinking age is younger over there. How old are you, Alex?
Okay. I get this question quite a lot. I think it's because of the braces. I think that's the big thing.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah, yeah.
22.
Okay.
I'm 22. It is mainly because of the braces. And the big thing behind the braces was, you've got to remember that there was a lockdown at some point, which meant that got pushed back by like a good 2 years. So I should have had these off 2.5 years ago. Not brilliant. I hope that they're off by the end of the season, because I can't be 23 wearing braces. I think that is the big thing at the moment. I think a lot of people are, very funny. I have had it where, I've gone to the bar and they're asking me for ID and I'm like, I'm 22, but the drinking age here is 18, which is a little bit different. I do find it crazy in America that the drinking age is 21. I just can't quite wrap my head around that. I mean, I've got friends that are like 20, 19, where if we were to go to America, I'd be able to drink. They wouldn't. I just find that absolutely crazy. But hey, different countries have different laws. Drinking laws across Europe, it's like 16. Some countries, it's even like 15, 14, which I think is a little bit too young. But yeah, I'm 22. I'm glad someone asked me that question, because I get comments all the time saying that, how old are you? Or like, you seem so much older than you are. I think 22 is probably the middle ground. I don't know. How old did you think I was, really?
I gotta be honest with you, I was a little bit nervous that you were a lot younger than I expected. I think from your videos and just like the way that you carry yourself and you talk, I was thinking that you were at least 20 years old. But again, there is a huge cultural difference between here and there, because like you just mentioned, it's 21 to drink here, and also college takes like 4 years here. Sometimes people, I know it's probably similar over there, but a lot of people go back for grad degrees and things like that. So like for me, for example, I didn't get out of college until I was 25, and that's not me taking any extra years or things like that. So I think there's a bit of a difference in maturity from pre to post, or during and post college. So like, yeah, you might be 22, but like how many years out of college are you? Like that's really what I look at.
Yeah.
Like you're an adult. It doesn't matter how old you are.
Yeah, I guess there's like you said, a different culture kind of aspect. Do you know what I mean? I mean, here, the kind of thought would be you finish school at 18 or sixth form. So you finish school at 16, you then do 2 years of what we would call college, but it's kind of just year 12, year 13.
Mm.
So I stayed on at school, did sixth form, and then started uni the year after. So at 18, and uni here only lasts 3 years, but then you get kind of an extra year to do a master's degree, depending on what you do, sort of thing. But another thing on the age as well, I mean, I've been doing YouTube, like I said, now like this for what, 10 years. So if you go back and watch some older videos at the time when I'm maybe 15, 14, the videos are nowhere near the quality they are. But even at that age, I felt like I was quite mature. Maybe I was just putting on a bit of a facade for the video. I don't know. I really wasn't mature at 14, 15. But yeah, I think it's a strange one. I think even if I was to watch my videos now and I didn't know who I was, I would probably be thinking the same thing. How old is this guy? But hey, I think the braces at least could I don't know, maybe make me look a little bit younger, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. That has a big part of it. Maybe, hey, maybe get a little facial hair going this year, a little mustache or something.
I don't know. I don't know. This is the best it can get to at the moment. It'll be shaved off for Wednesday's video because there's a couple of videos from a few years back I look at and I'm like, what is going on there? I'm like trying to grow some sort of beard and no, yeah, I think this is the best it's getting. Yeah, no way.
All right, well, whatever. Well, that was a good conversation, though. Hey, maybe we got to do a English American podcast down the line or something.
Who knows, man? Who knows?
So, do you want to kick us off with your first of two, so four total bold takes for the upcoming EFL Championship season?
Okay, I'm going to start off with the non-Coventry prediction because I would have started with a Coventry one, but I feel like I know a little bit more about that. And I want to start off by talking about our M69 derby rivals, Leicester City. Now, they have a really, really good squad. You know, in my lifetime, they've won a Premier League and FA Cup, and they absolutely walked the Championship 2 years ago. Of course, I know you've spoken about this a little bit as well. They have got a points deduction, it looks like, right? And they're probably expected to struggle, but I'm going to push it out there. I think Leicester will win the league again. This is no bias here. And as a Coventry fan, it really, really pains me to say, but man for man, look at their squad. And I know they did struggle in the Premier League last season. There's not many players, maybe Dewsbury Hall and one or two others, that have left since they absolutely walked the Championship 2 years ago. And they've got a really good manager in Marty Cifuentes. There's nothing here. I know this is controversial, but not at the same time, because I can imagine a lot of people will be predicting Leicester to win the league. But even if they get -10, -15 points, I don't see them. I really don't see them struggling this season. As crazy as that sounds, and a month and a half ago, I would have thought the complete opposite. I don't see a world where Leicester don't win this league.
Wow. Okay, that is very bold. So, just to confirm, you are aware that is potentially a 9 point deduction coming, and that there can be another one next year.
Exactly. I've heard 9 points. I've heard 12 points,
Mhm.
15. If you look at that Leicester squad that absolutely walked the league, you could have give them what, a 10 point deduction then, and they would have still won the league.
Mhm.
So unless they lose a core of their squad, which I really don't see happening, I don't see where they struggle. Sheffield United last season started with a -2, and I know they fell off a lot near the end, but that was absolutely nothing. What would have been an extra 7 points to Sheffield United than finishing fourth? And yes, they weren't the best squad in the league, but I think that just shows that a point deduction, I don't think, will set Leicester back very far. Things can change, obviously, from now until 2 weeks' time. You know, teams can make some big signings, but I really don't see Leicester not winning this league.
It's definitely an understandable take. That the only thing there's a couple things that come to my mind. Obviously, the point deduction, but to be completely honest with you, we have no idea. We only know the premise of what's going on there. So it is all possible that they do, just come in and boss up this season. One thing that I think of is if they lose El Canus, I know there's some Prem clubs that want to go in for him. I don't know how deep their squad is behind him, but they don't exactly have the most amount of money that they can freely spend. So if someone comes in from, the Prem and they just start to pick players away, they could run into some issues, but right now that's not the case. So, you know what? I see where you're coming from on that. So, thank you. I hope it's wrong, and I hope that we're laughing at it when, they finish way less, but I respect it.
Yeah, I'm exactly the same. I mean, obviously, I don't want them to win the league. I made a video about a month and a half ago where I sat there and said I don't think they even finish in the top 6.
Mhm.
The point deduction will knock them. But realistically, we are talking about one of the strongest squads in the league here. If a similar thing was to happen to, say, Sheffield Wednesday, who are already going through so much, everyone would be then saying they're bang on 24th relegation. People are still saying this now with Danny Roll wanting to leave, them being in a transfer embargo. So a point deduction could affect one of the worst teams in the league. But when we're talking about one of the best teams in the league, one that was playing in the Premier League last season, despite who they are, there has to be some accountability here for me to say that I would be really surprised if Leicester don't get promoted this year. And if they don't, then I feel like they'll get stuck in the Championship as well, because we've seen it so many times where a team have the good players where a lot of them will stay thinking, I'll get a season in the Championship, I'll get promoted, success, and maybe then a bigger club will see how well I've done. But if Leicester struggle and they don't get promoted this season, them same players could be leaving Leicester, going elsewhere, and then Leicester can struggle to attract players. Like you mentioned, they haven't got the money really to invest and bring in players, and this is all down to rules and regulations, etc. I think it could be an important season for them, especially they need to get promoted or they could just be on a backwards cycle.
All right. Well, you heard it right there. So Leicester to win the league. So I'm going to go the opposite direction now. My first bold take is that Sheffield Wednesday will win the league. No, I'm kidding. All right.
I was going to say that when I heard the word Sheffield Wednesday, I was thinking, is he going to say Sheffield Wednesday finished 23rd? Because even that's a pretty bold statement. But
Yeah, for real.
win the league.
No. Okay, I'm going to call this one the Stansfield slump. So I am
Okay.
going to talk about Birmingham City for my bold take this season. There's a couple parts to this. I couldn't really narrow it down to one thing, but I think all of these go hand in hand. So if you see me looking over here, I apologize. I have a couple notes because, you know, I don't want to sound any more of an idiot than I'm already going to sound when they go and they win the league. I don't think that Jay Stansfield will be a starter for Birmingham City by the end of the season. I think he'll score single digit goals, and I think that Birmingham City will underperform their expectations. First thing I'm going to say, their expectations are sky high, okay? So underperforming them is not the most insane thing. Right now, the bookies have them with the third best odds to outright win the league. They're sitting at 7-1, implying they would finish in third place. I don't think they're going to finish in third place. I'm not going to say where. I think they're going to finish in the table. I'm going to do a predictions video. I haven't exactly figured that out yet. But I want to go back to Jay Stansfield now. He scored 19 goals in League One last year. We know they broke the transfer record for him. He had a really good season last year. What was it? Around 15 million. I think it could go up more with fees. Do you know how many goals he scored via the penalty last season, Alex?
I think my guess is going to be 9. I think that's my guess.
That's actually correct. So he
There we
scored
go.
nine penalty goals last year. So he scored 10 goals from open play. I pulled a couple stats from the top goal scorers from the championship the last few seasons. The only person that had more than 5 penalty goals was Ivan Toney back in 2021. And we know how good he is with penalties, considering, he took one for England in the Euros last year, and he's just a beast of penalties. I know he's gone now. But I think that there's a lot of pressure on him coming into this year. Not only the price tag, I know he didn't have the best summer with England, and he was getting a lot of stick online. On top of that, Birmingham City have brought in one of the SPL's greatest players of all time, or greatest goal scorers of all time, Kyogo Furuhashi. On top of that, they're rumored to bring in a German striker. I don't think it's confirmed yet, Marvin Duksch. I talked about him in my 3 transfers you should be scared of video. He has been in the Bundesliga for the past 3 seasons. He's put up double-digit goals. He's put up double-digit assists. The last time that he was in a second-tier division was the Bundesliga 2. He put up 20 goals in 29 matches. It's one of those scenarios where there's a lot of mouths to feed, and there's just a lot of pressure on him. He's only 22 years old. Like, I could see like a Phil Foden effect coming in where like he's getting a lot of stick and he has these super high expectations, and if he doesn't instantly hit the ground running, things can get in his head, and they might start selecting Kyogo over him, they might start selecting Dukes over him, and I just think that when it's all said and done, he isn't going to be the guy that brings them to where they need to be. And it would be easy for me to go after any player and just say he's not going to have a good year, but the reason I wanted to go bold and go with Stansfield is because if you look at bookies' odds for the top goal scorer in the championship this year, he's actually the second best. So he's at 10-1, and the best is Cameron Archer. It's Cameron Archer from Southampton. And he's not too different odds wise. I think he's something like 7 or 8-1. So I just don't think that he's gonna have a great year. There's just a lot of mouths to feed. It's my opinion, and yeah.
Yeah, I struggle to want to disagree with that, to be honest. I mean, you've just got to look at how he did last year in League One. And obviously, as a Coventry fan, I've seen us play in League One for many, many years. And it doesn't matter how good a player is in League One, the Championship's a completely different ball game. Matty Godden is one big example. I think he really struggled with his last season at Coventry, went to Charlton last year, did really, really well. So you've got to look at Stansfield, 19 goals and 9 of them from the spot. Birmingham would have only got them 9 chances to score from a penalty because they were attacking so much against weaker defences. The worst defence in the Championship is still up a really, really good standard to some of the best in League One. You've just got to look at the improvements that the other two promoted sides are going to want to make throughout the summer. I mean, just look at Charlton. They've got pretty much half a new squad under Nathan Jones. Just looking at Stansfield, though, he's got a bit of experience in the Championship. 19 goals in League One, but 9 from the spot, so only 10 from open play. So then be the second bookie's favourite for top scorer. The bookies are absolutely laughing at every Birmingham City fan who believes that's even going to happen. I've got to agree with you. And look at the players that Birmingham have brought in as well. I know they've lost Alfie May, who was one of their better players last season, but they're bringing in players, like you've mentioned, that did really, really well at Celtic, had big, big Premier League clubs, looking at them to then end up in the Championship at Birmingham just over a season later is absolutely crazy. So realistically, Stansfield might not even be Birmingham's top scorer next season. I do hope from an England youth standpoint that I am wrong, but he's just not up to standard for the rest of that squad. I mean, a lot of them players have been at Premier League academies throughout their whole career and have had less experience in first team football and yet seem to outshine a player that's been playing in the Championship and League One last season. So I don't know. I have to agree with you there. I really don't think Stansfield's going to have a good season. 10 goals if I'm lucky, but I don't know. I think Birmingham fans, I think you'll find, and they're going to give me a bit of stick here. They're just one of them fan bases that are probably right now just ahead of the curve in their excitement. Yes, they had a really, really good campaign in League One and they've got a good young manager, but realistically to go into the Championship and compete, I know we saw Ipswich do it 2 years ago, but it's going to be a real, real test.
Yeah, and I totally understand their excitement too. I mean, you've got the investors coming in. They want to build a new stadium. They want to get. I mean, the way that they're signing, they want to be in the Premier League next season. Like their whole squad was revamped. They brought in some really good midfielders. They brought in some center backs with championship experience. Phil Newman also from the Bundesliga. I heard he's a very good defender. I don't know that much about him, but just one last thing I want to leave on that. They held 67% possession on average in their games last year. No matter how strong your midfield legs are, no matter how strong your defense is, that number is going to drop. And I think that's where you see the potential for less goals. Obviously, they're still going to be good. There's no question. But I just can't see three mouths being fed, especially when you have someone like Kyogo who just commands the ball and just has a presence on him. I mean, listen, maybe it's one of those situations where all of the eyes are on Kyogo and he can slip through, but I don't know. I just don't see it. So yeah.
Yeah, I see Kyogo having a good season. I think that's just a non-negotiable, really. And if
Mhm.
he stays fit, then I wouldn't be surprised if he's one of their top scorers. But an example I just want to give is Southampton in the Championship 2 years ago under Russell Martin, who's now at Rangers. He's known for playing possession-based football. And even in the pre-season friendlies with Rangers over the past couple of weeks, they've had more of the ball, more of the possession. It just shows that that's his style of play. We go back to 2 seasons ago at Southampton. Every team that played Southampton, it was annoying. They'd just pass the ball about. They'd outplay everyone pretty much. They got promoted against Leeds in the playoff final, and that possession-based football got them promoted. Very similar to Birmingham City last season. Obviously, not so much focused on possession, but they had the forward players to get forward and score goals. Last season with Southampton, however, they tried to play this possession-based football again in the Premier League and ultimately failed. So it just shows if you're going to keep the same style of play going up a level, it might not work. And if Birmingham think that they can play possession-based football against much better teams, they could really be in for a shock next season.
Yep. Good point. Very excited to see how it happens. It's that first match against Ipswich is going to be a really, really interesting one. There's so many questions to be answered.
Yeah, very interesting game. Obviously, Ipswich just coming down. They want to hit the ground running, and it's not an easy opponent, is it? Birmingham City. I feel like Leicester have pulled the better in playing Sheffield Wednesday, a team that are expected to struggle. Leicester could easily kick off season with 3 points. I'm really surprised we're not seeing a Leicester versus Wrexham on opening day, but I don't know. I'm sure that fixture's on Sky Sports at some point.
Yeah, that one will be televised, and I think it's safe to say Leicester will be top of the table after match day one with goal
Well,
differential.
I hope not. It'd be pretty funny if Sheffield Wednesday can get something from that game. To be honest,
Yeah, with their youth players, that'll be a good one.
that'll be brilliant. It reminds me a little bit. We in 2019 said Bolton Wanderers were going through a bit of a tough patch with their owners, and in 2019-20 season we were promoted to the Championship. Our first away game was away at Bolton. Bolton had to play their youth team, most of which are now playing like step 8, step 9 in England. Like, I don't think there's one that's still playing professionally. We turned up to Bolton, scored 3 offside goals, and drew 0-0 against their kids. We went on to win the league. They got relegated that season. Yeah, it was absolutely horrible. So I'm hoping the same happens to Leicester on opening day.
Definitely. All right. Give us your second and final bold take before I give mine.
Okay, so this is the Coventry City based one that I've got. This one, I don't know. I feel like a lot of people will disagree with it, but I just feel like at least one of Ellis Sims, Brissett, or Thomas Asante are going to hit the ground running this season. They absolutely have to. We can't be spending all this money on strikers for them not to materialise. And if one of them's going to do it, I feel like it's going to be Ellis Sims. You just look at how good he was 2 seasons ago. Yes, he was scoring goals against the likes of Rotherham, Maidstone, teams lower half of the table or smaller teams in the FA Cup. But there really is a player there. He's highly rated by every other team that have had him in the past. Hearts fans, Blackpool fans, even Sunderland fans will tell you that he was a top player for them. So it's crazy that we haven't seen the same Ellis Sims. I feel like Frank Lampard just has to put his faith in Ellis Sims next season. And yes, last season I said, right, Sims, Asante is 50 goals altogether. I was absolutely miles off it. Wright was injured by November. Sims had a pretty poor return, and Asante missed out on a couple of games as well. But we saw how good, when Wright was injured, Asante and Sims are together. So for one of them to push through, it really wouldn't surprise me. And as for Norman Bissett, I don't know. I feel like he probably needs a loan spell, but there's definitely a player there. So this is a season. One of them 3 strikers pushes on, gets a really, really good return by the end of the season, because a lot of fans seem to just be on them on them players' backs at the moment. And Ellis seems to be, other than maybe Brad Collins, the one player that the fans are getting on his back the most. So this season, I feel like it's Ellis Sims' season to at least get 15 goals in the league.
Okay. I was going to ask if you have a number. So you're saying 15 goals?
I think that's a minimum for the player that he is, as a physical number 9. You know, realistically, he's not the quickest player. He's not like Bissett, who's going to be putting a lot of pressure on the defense when they've got the ball. But just as a poacher and just as a target man up front, 15 goals should be an absolute minimum for a player of his ability, because there is a player there. Just sometimes it feels like he really isn't at the races. I don't know what it is. I don't know whether it's just a lack of effort or what, but 15 goals for me, absolute minimum for Ellis Sims next season.
Okay. So this one here, I'm going to come out and say that I respectfully disagree with. So just a couple things I'll push back on. I want it to happen, of course. There's no reason that I wouldn't. But I just think what I've seen from him in the preseason, highlights wise, I know it's just preseason, but I'm just wondering if it's gotten to a point where his confidence has taken such a blow that it might be past the point of return. I mean, he had a perfect opportunity this offseason or this preseason to kind of step in there with Wright injured, with us linked to strikers, but no one being brought in to kind of take the charge. But just in the preseason, he hasn't looked the best. So I do just wonder if there are talks behind the scenes to kind of cut your losses, and you're not going to loan him out. I believe he's like 24 years old. Maybe try to get some money for him. If he stays, I think that Frank and the staff just need to sit him down and just say, like, listen, like, we're behind you. Like, we're going to put all of our, like, chips in your basket. Like, I want you to have a good year. So I hope it does happen. But I have a question off of that for you. When Haji Wright was out, did the formation change? Were they running a two-striker formation? Was it still one man up top and they were alternating? What did the play style look like when Sims was the guy in that those winter months?
So obviously, Hadji gets injured their first game after Robbins is sacked.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a bit of a funny one where obviously then like, well, everything's up in the air. We get a 2-2 draw. What a turnaround that was, by the way, away at Sunderland. And then we've lost Hadji Wright. In comes Frank Lampard a couple of games later, and he starts to implement his own style. And what we saw was Thomas Asante playing up front with Ellis Sims. And I'd probably say the end of January, start of February was when it really got going. I think it was just the early games for Frank Lampard where he really struggled to implement his own style. A couple of times we'd see 5 at the back and 3 in midfield. You know, I think he was just testing the waters a little bit. And then probably about February time, he was kind of playing a 4 at the back, you know, 3 in midfield, and then he'd just basically play a 4-3-3. Or he'd play kind of a 4-4-2, but obviously Grimes would come back a little bit. Yeah, like just to talk about the play style, I think it was a time where he was just using what he had, if that makes sense. As to kind of the back end of last season when he had a fully fit squad, he was able to implement Wright a little better. I do think we do need to play with 2 strikers up top to get anything out of Ellis Sims, really, and that is a struggle. And just another thing, obviously, I understand that he is a confidence player, and you can sit there and say if you feel like his confidence is shot, and I do agree with that. As someone that watched the Bristol Rovers game, I know you did as well. I think we could easily agree that he was one of the poorest players on the pitch. And I'll go back to a friendly we played a few years ago against Forest Green. It was Ellis Sims' first game. He'd just signed from Everton. And within half an hour, I think we were 3-0 up, and Ellis Sims was absolutely bullying their defenders. This was another League Two team, first friendly of the season. So whether it's Bristol Rovers now or a better side than Forest Green were there, they probably are. But it's the same circumstance. It's a game where he really should be putting himself forward as I am the best striker at this club. I should be playing. And at 24 years of age, he should be a top championship striker because that's what's expected of him for the price tag we paid for him. So it's an out there prediction, but this is what we're doing, and I hope I'm right. I hope I'm right in this one because he does seem like, as much as he's not our best player, he does seem like a really good guy behind the scenes. He's definitely a confidence player. Seems quite shy, but I just want the best thing for him really, and the best thing for the club.
Yeah, definitely. Well, let's see if, 2 things. Say he comes out first game of the season and, Haji maybe is a sub in the second half and he gets out there and he gets that number 9 position on the first day of the season. He bags a goal or 2, even he gets an assist. That might get his confidence up. And secondly, that guy needs to get a damn edge up. His hair is chopped. So if he gets a nice haircut, gets some confidence in, he'll hit the ground running.
I feel like I can't really comment on haircuts just from some of the awful haircuts I've had over the years, but yeah, I have to agree. I think he needs to kind of follow Milan van Dijk and just getting a different style every month. Mix it up a bit.
Mm-hmm.
I remember certain games where Milan van Dijk will just show up with braids, and then the next week he'll have a big afro. So maybe Sims should do the same.
Sims' buzz cut could be lethal. Never know. You should test it out.
Who knows?
So a lot of players in American sports, specifically hockey, they like to do they call it a playoff beard, where they don't shave or get a haircut for the entirety of the playoffs. Superstition. So I don't know.
Yeah, we had a football player in England called Tom Huddleston. I think he was playing for Hull at the time in the Premier League, and probably going back about 10 years here. And I remember he played centre midfield, and he said he wasn't getting a haircut until he next scored a goal. And his hair's probably like as big as Sims is now. It got absolutely crazy. And then I think he scored against like a pretty decent team. Like it was like a Chelsea or an Arsenal, someone good in the Premier League. And then there was a video going around of him getting his haircut in the changing room. So yeah, he was desperate to get that hair gone.
That's funny. Maybe Sims needs to do something, switch it up. But yeah, I mean, great prediction, or great bold prediction. We'll revisit and see what happens. So it's actually funny. We're going like kind of opposites today without even conferring beforehand. So this one, I don't know why I came up with these corny names. It may or may not have been AI, but this one's going to be called the Haji Heist. Haji Wright will comfortably steal the Golden Boot this season. This one is bold. First thing I'm going to get off my chest because I just want to get this out there. I know that he isn't in match playing form yet. The way that they're talking, it seems like he's going to be ready very close to the start of the season. Not for a full 90, but you hope he doesn't miss more than like 2-3 games before getting those sub appearances and working back up. But this is bouncing off of the Ellis Sims conversation. Unless someone's brought in, which right now, as of July 28th, no one has been. The position is his. Whether you think he's better on the left or down the middle, he's most likely going to be our starting striker for a big chunk of this season. He's had 12 or more goals in the last 5 years. Last season was his lowest in 5 seasons. He missed 4 months. We know that. He missed 17 games actually in the championship last year. And then if we look at the last couple winners, last year was a down year. So I know Perot had 19 goals. If you look at the list of the top goal scorers from last season, I don't have it in front of me, but 3 of the top 5 scorers are out of the league. So Perot is gone, Sainz is gone, the guy from Burnley is gone, and then 4 and 5 are Sargent and Windass. Windass switched clubs, so he's still in the championship, but it's going to be a new experience for him over there. They got a couple other strikers. They got the guy from Plymouth, and then you've got Sargent, who is still with Norwich City. They brought in Matthias Kvistgarten, so he's also a striker as well. But I mean, I'm sure they can coexist fine. Now,
And just one thing to say about Sargent before we move on, he is heavily rumoured to leave Norwich as well.
yeah,
Like this, obviously it's not confirmed, but if he is to leave, I mean, I don't want to outrule all of the players that are coming into the league from the Premier League, but that's another one of the top 5 gone, right?
yeah. So the last I heard on that is that he doesn't want to go back to the Bundesliga, so he denied the move to Wolfsburg, but that shows that he is open to a transfer. So we'll see what goes on there. Now,
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he leaves, to be honest. I think Norwich are kind of going through a bit of a rebuild at the moment. They lost a lot of players in the last season, and losing Borges Sainz as well is a massive, massive blow for them. So I don't know, but if he does leave, that's huge, really.
yeah, especially for this, for the Golden Boot. But I listened to an interview with Norwich City's previous manager, the Danish guy who they sacked last season. And what he basically said was all the players that they brought in last season, they didn't try to bring in people that were ready to go in the championship. They tried to bring in players that they think are there for a rebuild. So he said he expects a lot of them to take a step up this year. So whether Sargent's there or not, I think they're probably going to score a lot of goals again. They actually were top 5 in goals scored. They were one of those teams that were just saying, we're going to outscore you. We're not going to just get clean sheets and whatnot. But yeah, so now I want to talk about why within the Coventry side, Haji Wright can distance himself from the rest of the league and win the Golden Boot. I have concerns. I've talked about it on my YouTube videos in the past. If you haven't seen them, go check them out. Coventry City are heavily cross-favored team. So almost all of their attacks start down the wing, go down the wing, they put the ball inside the box, and then they try to find a striker, they try to find Radoni, and then they have to either score a header or, go for a first-time finish, things like that. I have concerns with that, but I'm hoping that Victor Torp can provide stability and play through the middle, through balls. When he had his hat trick last season, I think at least 2 of those goals were beautifully placed through balls from Torp. So I want to see more play through the middle of the pitch and just let him get out and run and use his strength and his physicality to get around a defender. And then we know he's pretty lethal when he's one-on-one with the keeper. So I hope in his rehab from his Achilles, they have focus on a training plan that involves a lot of headers, a lot of first-time finishes from balls that are being crossed in, because that's going to be the way to get the goals this season.
I mean, just to comment on the crosses, I don't know if you agree with me here, and this is obviously something that I've spoken about in my own videos. I'm not a fan of us just constantly crossing the ball into the box. We've got like a 6'4", however big Ellis Sims is, striker, who never ever wins the ball in the air. And I know I just said 2 minutes ago that he was going to score 10, 15 goals this season, but we desperately need a plan B. And we've seen how good Hadji and Sims are in front of goals, one on one with the keeper. They can put the ball in the back of the net. So there's nothing saying that if we've got a plan B, a plan C in a game, that these strikers aren't going to do really, really well. But against Bristol Rovers, a team that really struggled in League One last season, have now dropped down to League Two. I know it's only pre-season friendly, but when one of the goals is a deflection, the other one's your right back having to run through and put the ball into the back of the net, and it's not the strikers just bullying their defence, or it's not coming from crosses. It's a little bit worrying at this point. It really, really is. Hadji for Golden Boot, my opinion, I don't think it's going to happen as much as I'd love it to. Again, similar to Sims, I feel like it's a confidence thing where we go to Sunderland last year in March when Hadji scored a hat trick and it was like, wow, who's this striker? And then you look at Sunderland in May, the exact same team at the Stadium of Light. Hadji really, really struggled, and maybe he was carrying an injury. And we've seen many big players in big games not want to back out at the final hurdle. So it really wouldn't surprise me if he knew he was carrying an injury and it wasn't a fully fit Hadji Wright. But at the same time, you've got to put that into consideration when looking at Hadji Wright who can score a hat trick, or Hadji Wright who can do all but nothing in 90 minutes of football against the exact same team. It's a little bit worrying. If it's a fully fit Hadji Wright for most of next season, then I really, really don't know. It's hard to agree with that one, but that's the whole premise of the video, isn't it? Obviously, some bold takes
For
that
sure.
me and you are hopefully going to be right on. Or probably not the first one. I actually hope that one's wrong, but still some bold takes.
Yeah, so it's contingent upon two things. One, him staying fit, coming back fit, and two, he needs to have a couple of those outlier games. Like he needs to bag one or two hat tricks, because I don't have the statistical breakdown of it, but I'm sure all the top goal scorers in the past couple of years have had at least one or two hat tricks. So I want to quickly no, first, it's funny that you mentioned the one-dimensional attack, because I was just alerted a graphic, and I made a TikTok on it right before this from this guy Watto on Twitter and Sky Blue Jay. I got in a little conversation with them. So we're rumored with Adriano Bertaccini, the Italian striker in the Belgian league. Are you aware of this?
No.
Okay.
But has this come out today? Because I mean, I don't know. These rumors come out of nowhere.
This
But
has been
no,
going
it
on
hasn't.
for a while, and it just recently
Okay.
resparked. So he's in the Belgian league. His first match was yesterday. He had a goal and an assist, and he said in a post-match interview something along the lines of, "I don't know if this will be my last game for this club." Not saying he's thinking about coming to Coventry, but I just want to just give you this stat. So
Okay.
this guy Watto, he compared Hadji, Ellis Sims, and Bertaccini in a ton of different statistics. I'll put it on the screen so people that are watching can see it. And one of the statistics is aerial percentage one. So you've got Hadji Wright at 86%, which sounds pretty crazy. I'm just
That,
going
that
to,
sounds better than I thought it would be.
me
Yeah.
too. I
That's
didn't realize
yeah.
how high it was. Then you've got Ellis Sims, 37.5%.
Yeah. That's higher than I thought it would be as well,
Do you
to
know
be
how tall they
honest.
are?
Same height.
They're
Maybe
both
Sims is a little bit taller.
They're both 6'4". Now you've got Bertaccini. He is at 75%. He's 5'8". That is
And
an
who's he playing? Who's
he's
he playing for?
he's playing in the Belgian league. So albeit
Oh,
the,
okay.
the quality difference is definitely there. I don't know how much.
Yeah.
I'm not going to pretend like I do know, but
Mm.
that just shows that he's got, what is he? What's that? I can't even do math right now. Is that 8 inches height difference? And he's
Yeah.
nearly the
And
same as Haji, and
a
he's
lot, yeah.
double Ellis Sims. So I'm just leaving that out there, just food for thought. But just quickly to circle back to the Haji thing, and then we can finish this discussion. The reason I think he can win the Golden Boot, it's contingent upon him staying healthy and having a good season for Coventry. But I also, and I did a video on this breaking down the top goal scorer bookie odds. A lot of the guys in the top are on the same team. So you've got in the top 9, because after that, there just drops off a cliff, like odds wise. You've got Kyogo and Stansfield both in the top 9. I think they're going to leech goals off each other. If you throw Dukes into the mix, that's 5-10 goals taken right there from them. And they definitely can have an amazing season and score, 80 goals or whatever. But it's hard to bet your money on that when the odds are already kind of like factoring that in. And then you've got all the Southampton boys. So you've got Archer, you've got Adam Armstrong, you've got Ross Stewart, and nowhere to be found on that top of the list is Damian Downs too, who the American striker they brought in. Not saying he's going to go and he's going to score a ton of goals, but I just see a lot of teams taking goals from each other. Albeit you have Daka for Leicester, who's going to probably eat up a ton of goals. You've got Hurst from Ipswich, who's going to have a ton of goals too. But, I mean, I don't think it's that crazy. But it's contingent upon A, B, and C happening.
Yeah, I think you named some good players there. I mean, even Adam Armstrong, for example, is like just a championship striker, the perfect championship striker. And I feel like there's a lot of them players. I think you got to rely on a lot on them players having a rough patch and Hadji just being consistent this season. But look at the midfield we've got as well to help Hadji out. I mean, Rudoni, Torp, Grimes, Sheaf, Eccles, even like Jamie Allen, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see Kai Andrews feature a little bit this season as well. So, I mean, we've got a really, really good squad behind Hadji, and like Sakamoto on the wing, and Mason Clark as well. So we're a fully fit squad. He just needs the rest of the team to provide him with a ball in the right position, and it really wouldn't surprise me if he gets 20 goals. What was last year's highest score? 19.
Last year's was 19 with Perot from Leeds.
Yeah.
That's
very low,
here, to be fair. But the previous years are pretty massive. It was 27, 28, and then I believe you got Mitrovic, who had 43 for Fulham, which is just an anomaly.
Do you want a stat about Mitrovic in the Championship?
Yeah.
Scoring goals. So Mitrovic had an unreal season that year, and he scored against every single team in the Championship except Coventry City.
Let's go. That's
the
awesome.
Only team in the league he didn't score against. Now, we beat them. We're the only team to beat them back to back as well. Like, it was weird. Like, I think we're like their bogey team. I don't think Fulham have beat us in something like 60 odd years. But when we played Fulham at home, Fulham took the lead, and it looked like the ball come off Mitrovic, but it actually come off our defender, so it was an own goal. So yeah, basically Mitrovic, the only team he didn't score against in the Championship that season was Coventry. So that's our claim to fame of one of the best strikers to ever play in the second tier.
Good, because you've got people on Twitter creating fake rumors that he's going to Birmingham City. So if he somehow ends up there for, I don't know where they're getting the money from.
Not a chance.
He won't be scoring against us. But that was a great conversation. Do you have any final points to make? Anything you want to add?
I think I've added as much as I can to look back on at the end of the season and see how wrong I was, I feel. So, yeah.
All right. Well, Alex, thanks a lot. We definitely should collab again in the future. This is a very fun conversation. Looking forward to the season, PUSB, and look forward to your vlogs as well. Tell people where they can find you.
Yeah, so if you don't know me, my name's Alex Craig. I run a Coventry City YouTube channel where I go to every single game, home and away, including the friendlies, the cup, etc. I also do loads of traveling. I've been to Spain, Portugal, Germany, all over Europe watching football. Most recently, I went to the San Siro. I've been to Switzerland quite recently as well, so I'm hoping to do more of that this season. And yeah, just some championship content as well. Just a big lover of football at all different levels. I'm hoping to build my channel up and do as much football content as I can this season. So if you're not already subscribed, please do. And, yeah, if you enjoy the videos anyway, don't subscribe if you don't enjoy it. Come on now. But yeah, go and check my channel out as well. Thank you.
Yeah, if you're still somehow here, sub to my channel, sub to his channel. Like the video and comment your bold take. Thank you so much. We'll see you in the next one, and peace.